ajnana timirandasya jnananjana salakaya chakshur unmilitam ena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let me share my screen. So we are in second canto, fourth chapter, 16th verse, where Sukadeva Goswami was asked some questions by Maharaj Parikshit, and very interestingly, Sukadeva Goswami, first of all, he is going into trance in offering prayers to Krishna. Something I was finding it interesting is that in the Canto 1, there was also discussions, there was questions asked by the sages to Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami answers, of course, with the blessings of Guru and Krishna. And then after that, also Vyasadeva was having some confusion, and there also Narada Muni, gives the answers, and after that is a storyline. But when we come to second canto, where Sukadeva Goswami was explicitly starting his discussion, right in the first verse itself, he says, the question you are asking, O Maharaj Parikshit, is very glorious. And then he says that it's also confirmed by other transcendentalists that this is very glorious discussion. So, what I was finding interesting is that there is a lot of references to the qualified personalities instead of direct question, directly answering the questions. Similarly, today's verse also goes in that direction. So Sukadeva Goswami says, Vichakshanaya charanopasadana sangam yudasya bayato antar atmanaha vindanti hi brahmagatim gata klamas tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha. Vichakshanaya charanopasadana sangam yudasyubhyato antar atmanaha vindanti hi brahmagatim gata klamas tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha. Word to word. Vichakshana, very highly intellectual, yet whose charana upasadana, simply dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet, sangam, attachment, yudasya, giving up completely, ubhyataha, for present and future existence, anta, Atmanaha, of the heart and soul, Vindanti, moves progressively. He suddenly, Brahmagati, towards spiritual existence, Gata Klamaha, without difficulty, Tasmai, unto him Shubhadra, all auspicious, Sravase, unto one who is heard, Namaha, my dear obeisances, Namaha, again and again. So I picked up some highlights on the first word, Vichakshanaha, and the second highlight is Brahmagati, and a little bit on Gata Klamaha, without difficulty. So I'm finding it very interesting. And before that, going to the caliber of Sukadeva Goswami is that he was son of Vyasadeva, and he is Brahman realized. We all know that until 16 years, he didn't come out of his mother's tummy because he doesn't want to get affected by Maya. And then somehow on the request of Krishna, he comes out, but he goes away. And we see his presence in the last chapter in the first canto, when Parishit Maharaj decides to fast until the death, going to the Ganges. And all the sages over the world comes there. All the sages means all the sages, which also includes Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, and of course Sutta Goswami, and so on. So many great big shots come there. So then Maharaj Parishit asks the question, what is the duty of every person, and especially what is the unalloyed duty of a dying man? And the sages were all trying to come to conclusion. And when Sukadeva Goswami starts coming, his entrance is quite intriguing because he's naked, he's not dressed at all. And then he is followed by the boys and the girls who are taunting him, throwing stones on him and so on. So when Sukadeva, such personality, enters, all the sages in the assembly, they just raises up. Of course, Prabhupada mentions in the 29th verse of the 19th chapter, with the exclusion of his spiritual masters like Vyasadeva, Narada Muni, and other personalities. The rest of the people, they just raises up with his presence. So that great personality, when Parishit Maharaj asked, could you please tell more about Krishna consciousness? What he is telling is, what he is doing is he's quoting Vichakshanaha, the highly intelligent people. He's quoting the highly intelligent people. So similarly, like, in the rest of the canto also, there is a lot of quotations in this chapter, in this canto, basically. This canto is small, only 10 chapters. There is a lot of quotations. Here, Sukadeva Goswami quotes Brahma and Narada, and Brahma quotes Lord, and so on. So I was also thinking the importance of quoting, quoting references. In our contemporary world, we quote, when we want to make a point. We say like Prabhupada said it, or we say manual says like this. When something is quoted, then the full attention is there, right? There is a full acceptance. So the way Sukadeva Goswami quotes is, Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha. Let me offer obeisances again and again to who is Subhadra, who is most auspicious person, that is a supreme personality of Godhead. Subhadra, Shavase, who is a most worthy person, So let me offer, tasmai, therefore, let me offer obeisances again and again to that Supreme Personality Godhead who is most auspicious. And the reason is because the most intelligent class, Vichakshana, highly intellectual people, they just by surrendering to him, Charana Upasadana, simply dedicating oneself unto the lotus feet, they were able to give up their attachment, Sangam, viewed as a give up completely their attachment to present and future existence. We know that the main obstacle in this world is attachment, and therefore, for any bhakti path or any yogic, any spiritual path, they all include detachment as one of the primary limb actually. So all these high class people, they were able to give up their attachment to the present and future existence. Not only that, Vindantihi Brahmagatim Gata Klamas. They moved progressively. Vindanti. Prabhupada is going to say nicely about this, about this word, progress, moves progressively. Vindantihi Brahmagatim towards spiritual existence. This is also a very nice explanation we're going to hear, especially Prabhupada quotes Jiva Goswami, what is Brahmagati means. And Gata Klamas without difficulty, very easily. So that is what Sukadeva Goswami is telling. Let me offer obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead again and again, who is the most auspicious, because these most intelligent people, they're just able to get detached from the present and future existence, which nobody has any clue. Just by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and moving on progressively to spiritual existence without difficulty. Gata Klamas. So the translation. Since the time is short, so I'm coming to cover whatever I want to share and reading both translation purport. Okay. We only have 15 more minutes. So let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to the present and future existences, and without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. And Prabhupada's purport really very inspiring personally for me. He says, Lord Shri Krishna has repeatedly instructed Arjuna, or for that matter, everyone concerned with becoming his unalloyed devotee. In the last phase of his instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, 1864 to 66, he instructed most confidentially as follows. So, Prabhupada quotes 1864-66, he says, Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shunume paramam vachaha ishtosmi drudam iti tato vakshyami te hitam manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namuskuru mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. So it's very important reference and very important quote. We read this many times, but we're going to pay a little bit more attention because of the context. Krishna is telling, Sarva guhyatamam bhuya, he says. Guhya means confidential part or secret. Sarva guhyam, shunume paramam vachaha, please hear Istosmi Drodamiti, he says, the Prabhupada says, my dear Arjuna, you are very dear to me. You are very special to me. Istosmi Drodam iti tatavakshamite hitam. Therefore, only for your good, I want to disclose this most secret part of my instruction. Sarva Guhyatamam. Please note, this is from Bhagavad Gita. This is from Krishna. And this is the last instructions. And the appeal of Krishna is, Sarva Guhitam Puya, my dear Arjuna, please hear this most secret part of my instruction. And Krishna says, Manmana abhav madbhakt. So it is simply this, become a pure devotee of mine and give yourself unto me only. And this is important sentence here. Prabhupada says, I promise you full spiritual existence. Ma me vaishyasi satyamte. So just by Krishna is telling, it is the most confidential part, my dear Arjuna. The confidential part is that you just become a devotee, become pure devotee and give yourself to me. And I for sure promise you full spiritual existence by which you may gain the eternal right of transcendental loving service unto me. Just give up all other ways of religiosity and exclusively surrender unto me and believe that I will protect you from your sinful acts and I shall deliver you. Do not worry anymore. I found it very inspiring, seeing the context, how Prabhupada quoted and Prabhupada especially emphasized. So we will get more explanation on this confidential part. Prabhupada says, persons who are intelligent take serious notice of this last instruction of the Lord. Knowledge of the self is the first step in spiritual realization, which is called confidential knowledge. Krishna tells the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is confidential because knowledge of the self, who we are, is a secret. And a step further, God realization, which is called more confidential knowledge. Knowing that God exists is like, more secret, more confidential knowledge. And the culmination of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is God realization. And when one attains this stage of God realization, he naturally, voluntarily becomes a devotee of the Lord to render him loving transcendental service. This is the most confidential part. Becoming a devotee of Krishna is the most confidential secret of all secrets. Any other secrets in this world, Krishna himself is telling, Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuya. So this devotional, the reason why it is confidential is that this devotion service to the Lord is always based on love of God and is distinct from the nature of routine services as prescribed in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyana Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, there are different injunctions for such men of different categories, and there are various descriptions for Varnashrama Dharma, Sannyas Dharma, Yati Dharma, renounce order of life, controlling the senses, meditation, perfection of mystic powers, etc. But one who fully surrenders unto the Lord to render service unto him out of spontaneous love for him, factually assimilates the essence of all knowledge described in the Vedas. So please forgive me for repeating. But there are many, many duties for us that consumes our day and this lifetime and many, many births actually. And they're all valid and bona fide and supported by Vedas. But conducting ourselves out of spontaneous love for him factually assimilates the essence of knowledge described in the Vedas. So one who adopts this method very skillfully attains perfection of life at once. And this perfection of life or human life is called Brahmagati, or the progressive march in spiritual existence. So the confidential part is there is soul, more confidential is there is God, and most confidential is acting in relationship with Him out of spontaneous love for Him, and uh, therefore constitutes the most confidential part of all the things in this whole creation. And doing so, even that's also the essence of all the Vedas. Doing so, it guarantees Brahmagati. So Jiva Goswami gives a very nice explanation what is Brahmagati, like what is it? One who is surrendering to Krishna, one who is trying to become a devotee, what is he getting to? So Prabhupada says, as enunciated by Srila Jiva Goswami on the basis of Vedic assurances, Brahmagati means to attain a spiritual form as good as that of the Lord. And in that form, the liberated living being eternally lives on one of the spiritual planets situated in the spiritual sky. It's very inspiring for me. What the gift we are blessed. What are we leading up to? We don't see it. It doesn't look like it, nor the world promotes it. The world promotes, getting a degree in Harvard or IIT and so on. If you get a degree, you get a PhD, then you're a big shot, your life is successful and so on. But nobody promotes that you're a soul. No, nobody promotes there is a God, and nobody promotes at all that acting in a. It's like it's a secret. It's a secret that is told right in front of the eyes, but people, one doesn't get it. But our Srila Prabhupada, Jiva Goswami, they're telling the gift we are being, the devotee aspiring to surrender is being blessed is a spiritual form as good as God Himself, and opportunity to eternally live in one of the spiritual planets. So we know that there's promotion for Harvard or IIT and so on, and it takes a lot of austerity. I know from India, to get IIT, people are scrutinizedly trained 5 years before they get to the actual degree. So how hard it is to take up this process for Brahmagati or to attain this goal. So Prabhupada says, attainment of this perfection of life is easily available to a pure devotee of the Lord without his undergoing any difficult method of perfection. Such a devotional life is full of kirtana, smaranam, ikshanam, etc., as mentioned in the previous verse. One must therefore adopt this simple way of devotional life in order to attain the highest perfection available in the category of human form of life in any part of the world. So now, so this covers Vichakshana, the intelligent person, that's Krishna himself, confirming, and then Brahmagati and Gata Klamas. Now, Prabhupada himself is going to quote the most intelligent person of this universe. We all know that Lord Brahma is the most intelligent person. In fact, his body is not made of how our bodies are made, like, with the skin or with the earth, water, panchabhutas, but his body is made of intelligence. So Prabhupada says, when Lord Brahma met Lord Krishna as a playful child at Vrindavan, he offered his prayer in which he said, Shreya Shrutim Bhaktim Udasyate Vibho Klishyanti Kevala Bodha Labdaye Tesham Asav Klishal Eva Sishyate Nanya Yadastula Tushava Gathina. Bhakti, Lord Brahma is telling, Bhakti Yoga is the highest quality of perfection to be achieved by the intelligent person in lieu of performing a large quantity of spiritual activities. So Lord Brahma is telling here, Shreya Shitim Bhaktim, the highest thing. Here is the translation. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path of self-realization. But if someone gives up that path and engages in cultivation of speculative knowledge, he is only simply getting trouble. As a person, try to beat up the husk of wheat, cannot get grain. You take the husk and beat it, you cannot get grain. One who speculates and cannot achieve self-realization, his only gain is trouble. So that's what Prabhupada is telling. The example cited here is very appropriate. A handful of real paddy is more valuable than heaps of paddy skins without any substance within. Similarly, one should not be attracted by the jugglery of karma kanda, jnana kanda, or even the gymnastic performances of yoga, but skillfully should take to the simple performance of kirtana, smaranam, etc. under a bona fide spiritual master, and without any difficulty attain the highest perfection. So Sukadeva Goswami is telling, the most highly intelligent people are doing this, and Prabhupada substantiated by quoting Krishna himself, telling that it's the most confidential part, and also substantiated by the Lord Brahma, the prime, the highest living being in this universe, saying that this is the best path, and how to do it is pretty simple. So what Prabhupada is saying here is just do simple performance of kirtana, smaranam, etc. under a bona fide spiritual master without difficulty, attain the highest perfection. So the way to do it in a practical way is that we have in the same database, like vedabase.io is the URL. We go to the menu and click on the library here. So there we see the transcripts. So we can just pick, Bhagavad Gita, like you can click on Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam and just continue playing one by one. And as as like any other thing in this world, we don't need to do a lot of austerity of studying vigorously or taking a break from the work or family life and so on. We don't need to do any of the austerity. Whatever we are doing, we can continue doing, cooking, working, or cleaning the home or whatever. And then, but only thing is just start hearing or start playing the spiritual vibration from the spiritual personalities. Here we have Srila Prabhupada. Just play the lecture, and continue doing the work. And for sure, the Brahmagati opens up. And if you want to do it better, just do whatever we are doing, do it out of gratitude and love for Krishna or even spiritual master. Then actually we already attained Brahmagati. So that is the process. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami is telling, Tasmai Subhadro Shavase Namo Namaha. That's it. Probably a small offering for you all. We already 8:04. Anyone want to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a long purport. So, yeah, I just came out, Prabhu. But I was trying to understand the the way Prabhupada gave the process to us, right? Compared to what he is called at the end is gymnastics, right? We were seeing Prithu Maharaj leaving this planet. So of course, he's a great devotee. He's Lord Shakti Aveshavatar. But I think in the years that he was there, so when he was leaving the body, so much technical way that he did. Raising the life way through the eyebrows and all. In between the eyes, right? I was just thinking. A lot of details are involved. In this is that to follow that kind of process. People try to do a lot of yoga processes and all. It is really impractical to even to understand for us. It's forget about practicing it. Understanding that whole process itself. It's something. Sometime it happened, and we think that it is not possible. Right? So like for example, somewhere something happened. If we don't know the context or the time and place, we will think that it is not possible. Right? A lot of things. That's how it happens in the the scriptures also. Right? People can't see it or can't experience it. They will say it is not possible. But the way compared to that, the yoga process or how Prithu Maharaj left. I was just relating to that thing, and then how Prabhupada has given the process to us. Right? It is so practical. For us, what Prabhupada has given, so easy and right. So, I was just thinking about that. So even that itself is valid process. Whatever the proper Ashtanga yoga, but the practicality of doing it in this age and time is really impossible.
Two sharings, Prabhu. One sharing is somehow there has been a lot of study in my life recently, different scriptures. Actually, it is spinning my mind, but I'm coming to appreciate the process given by Prabhupada. Like it is more even direct than the what Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is giving actually. So like to put it in simple way, like we have 64 activities of devotional service. Out of 64, there are 5 most potent, right? Chanting and the name and the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam and so on. But all this is madeable by the mercy of spiritual master. Or without spiritual master mercy, that is not possible. So, just going through this study, the vigorous study. So it's just bringing to the point, like, we are all given like in most easiest. And that's what one thing I was appreciating, like if you hear ISKCON sannyasis, spiritual masters, they will not tell anything technically, when they're giving class, but they just focus on Krishna and Guru. And it is wonders, it's working wonders. So that's one point I am coming to understand, which Prabhupada is also saying the same thing in this purport. The simple thing is just do Kirtanam, Smaranam and Shravanam under the guidance of spiritual master and without difficulty, right? And the second sharing is, I was also coming to understand and hear that even Bhagavatam is not recommending, although like in the previous 2 chapters, we went through a rigorous study of, Ashtanga Yoga and, Viradrupa meditations and so on, or even Satchakra Yoga also. So the reason only Bhagavatam is mentioning them is, to give a contrast. So when the contrast is there, so the bhakti is more glorified and bhakti stands out more vividly. So our acharyas and Krishna and Guru, everyone is working hard because we are already given this process. We already know the chanting and the most potent activities. We know all the philosophy, but it's very confidential. We're not getting it. So then they are working hard to bring us to that conclusion in different ways.
Thank you.
Hare
That's it.
Krishna, Vamsidhari Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada.
His Excellency
Thank you for bringing so nicely the essence. So when you were saying, I was thinking, prasadam is ready. Just take it. Don't think about what ingredients were there in that, who prepared it. It doesn't matter all those. Just take it. So I think you brought into that conclusion for all of us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jiva Goswami is telling like Brahmagati. And Prabhupada is explaining what is Brahmagati is just, we can feel love for Krishna, we can feel love and gratitude and just do it. So, and it was so nice. I mean, I really liked reading the purport. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving the easy example of Prasad. Balram Prasad, Prabhu. Okay, that's it. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol.